And 3, 2, 1.
Buenos noches, amigos, and welcome to episode 48 of Not Another Sox podcast. I am Jack Webster here with Matt Galveo and Matt LeBeau. As always, fellas, we got the shortstop. We got Alberto Mondesi, the Mondussy.
Mondusy, yeah, exactly. That's what the streets are saying. The Mondusy, man. Dude, just like we chalked it up, just like we knew Heim was gonna do. Go out, get the biggest player, biggest free agent on the market, biggest shortstop on the market. Not free agent, but trade. As far as trade goes, get the biggest fish out there, and he did. We don't, screw Carlos Correa, Trey Turner, Dansby Swanson. Those guys are all mid compared to our new shortstop, Mondussy.
Xander Bogaerts, too, that fella.
Xander Bogaerts. Who is that guy? Hit the bricks.
Yeah, I mean, when this offseason started, we said it was a make or break offseason for Chaim Bloom, and he came through. He got our guy. Adalberto Mondesi will be the long-term answer to the shortstop problem because he's only played 100 games in the last 3 seasons, and he hits under 200. So this is just a banner day for the Boston Red Sox because, instead of signing Xander Bogaerts, your captain and your 2-time World Series champion, we were able to go and get a marquee shortstop. So just a really exciting day all around.
Yeah, no, you heard all off-season Chaim Bloom go, oh, yeah, we're going to make an impact trade for a player here. And, you wonder who it might be. Maybe it's Edward Cabrera. Maybe it's Willy Adames. Maybe it's even Ha-Sung Kim. But no, out of nowhere, able to get Alberto Mondesi, a guy that, many wouldn't even think is available just due to the fact that he's just so talented.
Right.
And, it's produced so much around the league. So I'm still blown away by it all.
Yep. No, it's wow. It feels good to be a Red Sox fan. It really does. It just, life is good.
I mean, people love to shit on Chaim Bloom, but he just does it again. As soon as you're out on Chaim Bloom, he just does it again. He pulls this up his sleeve. Like, where was this, dude? Like, he's a goddamn magician. Call him Houdini.
The magic.
The magic, man. He just has that wand, and he, boom. Oh, need a shortstop? Here you go. And here's Mondesi. I mean, a generational talent, as everyone knows. Just a pure baseball player. This guy was born to play shortstop for the Red Sox, and Chaim Bloom knew that. He went out there, and he made it happen like he always does.
Yep.
So there's not much to say on that. I mean, Chaim Bloom does it again, really.
Yeah. Well, I think the best part is we traded from an area of death, which is our left-handedness in the bullpen. Because, we have Joely Rodriguez, and then we also have Joely Rodriguez. And then, to support him, we also have Joely Rodriguez.
Right.
Yeah, so,
right.
I'm so glad that we were able to get rid of, Josh Taylor that, might have not pitched last year at all, but, it's not like he had a really high strikeout rate or anything like that. So, who needs a guy like that for $1 million on your roster?
It's so funny because the Reds, Chaim Bloom had said earlier this offseason that starting pitching was an area of depth. And I think we would all argue that and say lefty bullpen arms was actually the area of depth. So I think he actually got it wrong. But yeah, I mean, like Jack mentioned, we have 3 really good lefty bullpen arms right now. So that's, I mean, it just the more you look into this trade, the more you realize Jesus Christ, this guy just what a magnificent trade. Unbelievable.
It's I mean, we So bullpen was the weak point for the team last year, right? And just to recap yesterday, and I know that maybe a lot of Red Sox fans on Twitter won't agree, but yesterday the Red Sox traded for a shortstop that will likely be DFA'd some point during his Red Sox career. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, by June. For a guy who actually is an effective bullpen pitcher, and I don't even care about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Josh Taylor, not Jonathan Taylor, the football player.
Yeah.
Josh Taylor. I don't care about JT. He's irrelevant. He didn't even pitch last year. But let's be real for a second. They lost 2 bullpen pitchers last year that were effective, or have been effective over the last couple of years. And it was the weakest point on the team. Now, did they make some additions over the offseason? Of course they did. And is the bullpen going to be a lot better? Yeah, of course it will. But I mean, I just don't get it. I just really don't get it anymore. I just don't. No.
It definitely seems like I'm sure there'll be another move, even, as the last 48 hours or so have been from a certain perspective. I mean, I know a lot of people have liked the moves that have been going on. I would have enjoyed something that would have been actually a little bit more impactful. I'm still hoping that comes in some form or another, but there's obvious flaws with some of the guys that have come over the last few days, and you just wish it was a little bit more with that.
Yeah. I mean, they basically hyped up a trade all offseason, and it never happened. I mean, this is not a trade. This is basically swapping 2 guys that really are borderline rosterable. So this is really not a trade to me. This is just more along the lines of, hey, we might consider DFAing this guy. Oh, hey, we also might consider DFAing this guy. You guys want to just switch?
Yeah.
We're both going to DFA him by, June or July anyways. That's really not a trade. You're not really pulling one out of your hat there. Did the Red Sox come out on the better end? I mean, they got 2 players out of it, a player to be named, whatever. They got 2 players out of it. Yeah, they came out on the better end. Is there any winner in this trade? No, there really is.
Yeah, it's kind of like 2 people just trading trash for trash, kind of. These 2 girls having a mid off right now.
They're having
that's pretty much the summary of the trade.
Yeah. It's like in SpongeBob when it's just like, I couldn't afford to get you anything, so I got you this box. And then, the other person's like, well, I couldn't afford you to get anything, so I also got you this box. Like, this is pretty much that exact trade where, we have nothing to afford to give each other, but we still did it just out of the kindness of our hearts.
Yeah, it's like when you see, when you're on, John J. Partington or Branch Ave, and you see the homeless person trading a Chobani yogurt for a cigarette.
Yeah.
The Red Sox got 2 cigarettes out of it. We got the cigarette end, which is a little bit better than the yogurt end, but we still did really bad.
Yeah, and we're gonna burn through those cigarettes before you know it.
Yeah,
right.
We're gonna burn through them tonight.
Yeah. And then the other move that happened yesterday, right? The second move, was probably, I would say, the 4th worst bullpen pitcher in the bullpen got DFA'd, in Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
And, talked about that a lot in the group chat yesterday. Another kind of just confusing move. Is it the biggest deal? No. But is it the one that I would probably say I disagree with the most of this offseason? I think it is. I really do. Besides Bogarts, of course, but I think this is the one that I disagree with the most.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is ups and downs. His stuff has gone downhill. I think even Matt Barnes might even tell you that deep down inside. But he ended up actually being pretty good once he came off the IL about halfway through the season last year. Even the strikeout numbers were down a little bit, but the ERA was excellent. The FIP was excellent as well. So it just really seemed like out of left field when there was other options at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we mentioned in the chat yesterday, Caleb or Ryan Brazier is still on this team. Like there was other options if you really wanted to DFA somebody, obviously to make room. Wyatt Mills.
Yeah.
The one guy is just like Ryan Brazier. This guy is still he's gonna have a lifetime contract with this team, just literally just for 2018. Like that, he is still riding high off of that 1 year, and he is literally just almost like an untouchable for this team. Literally, like you cannot. He's like a made guy.
Yeah, no,
for the Red Sox, you cannot touch him.
He's a made guy. He is. I really don't understand it. I mean, I loved when he yelled at Gary Sanchez. I think we all thought that was really cool. He was okay in 2021. He pitched in some really big spots against the Nationals down the stretch, and then in the in the playoffs a little bit as well. But if he had a terrible year last year and he proved that he's bad. Whereas like Matt Barnes, he was hurt, then he came back and he pitched well, and then now he's just off the team. The thing is like Matt Barnes, I just don't get it, man. Matt Barnes is younger. He had a better year last year than Ryan Brazier. Sure, he pitched less, and he was an all-star in 2021. Not to mention that he's a homegrown talent, and as much as I hate Connecticut people, he's a local guy. I mean, I think he kind of did him dirty. What does Wyatt Mills do better than Matt Barnes? What does Ryan Brazier do better than Matt Barnes? What does Caleb Ork do better than Matt Barnes? I mean, isn't Josh Witkowski still on the 40-man?
Yep, he's still on the 40-man.
All right.
There's probably half a dozen other guys I might have even listed before, not even taking a look at Matt Barnes in spring. If you come into spring training, he's like, hey, he's a guy that we can't have on our major league team, or we want flexibility. It's whatever, some team will claim him and we'll get like $1 million back off the luxury tax or whatever. Like that's one thing, but to do it now just seems so random and unnecessary.
Yeah.
There's so many other moves that should have already been made. Then this is the one that you're doing right now. I feel like I got blasted on this for Twitter for some fucking reason that even with the addition of Adam Duvall, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well, I feel like we kind of got worse. We lost one of our two lefties. We lost another guy that can at least pitch decent in a mop-up role at worst. And we only added in, a guy who's attribute is his speed, which has gone down, and he just suffered an ACL injury. And then we added, a power hitter that has not really played too much center field and didn't hit for much power or get on base too much last year. So there's reason to believe that this team actually somehow got a little bit worse with some of these moves, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think that like yesterday you have to isolate like the Duvall signing. I'm not saying that the team got worse by adding Duvall and Mondesi and losing Barnes and JT. I think that with the Duvall in there, I definitely think that he makes the team a lot better, or at least a little bit better.
He's an addition. He's definitely an addition.
But he was already, in my opinion, he was already on the team.
Right.
Who he was going to replace.
Yeah.
Yesterday, how I look at it is you added Mondesi, and then you subtracted JT and Matt Barnes. In my opinion, yesterday you got worse. If you want to add Duvall in there because he was technically the one that replaces Matt Barnes, then you really no. Did you get worse? No. But absolutely, You definitely did. I mean, Matt Barnes is the best player out of those three players: JT, Alberto Mondesi, and Matt Barnes. I would take Matt Barnes over those three. You could also make the argument that JT is a better option than Joely Rodriguez, who had a really bad year last year. I think he has good stuff, and I know people are high on him, lefty specialist. But I think people forget how good Jonathan Taylor, Jesus Christ, it's going to kill me. Josh was in 2021. And I don't know why that's not being considered. After the guy didn't pitch last year because of an injury, I don't know why it's not being considered that if he returns to form that he did in 2021. I mean, he was a horse. He pitched had 60 appearances in 2021.
Yeah. I don't get why you would count on Josh Taylor to now come back to somewhat his form, but you would count on Alberto Mondesi, which didn't really play at all in 2022, played 35 games in 2021, played all of 2020 great, over 60 games, but even before that, he only played 100 games, the most in his career. So I'm not sure this guy's really too much more than a platoon type of player, really, with Christian Arroyo at second base. I mean, Chaim Bloom even said that right now Kike Hernandez is still our starting shortstop.
Yeah. And I'm about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel obviously I'd rather have Kike in that role than a guy like Mondesi, who obviously hasn't really been able to stay on the field too much, the last few years. So I don't know, it's very mid. LeBeau, you called it in the last episode that the trade that was going to happen was going to be a very mid trade, for a very okay player, and that's exactly what ended up happening. And the thing is, they just hyped this up so much. Maybe they did it because they wanted to take some of the heat off of themselves, and there was a lot of pressure on them, especially from winter weekend. They took a lot of heat from the fans there, and maybe they tried to hype it up like it was going to be something bigger than it really was. Or maybe they actually feel like Mondesi is going to be an impact player. I don't know what they're thinking themselves, but maybe this is just something where they were just trying to take some of the heat off of themselves after, the heat that they caught from the fans the last couple of weeks.
I'm trying to find his batting as a left-hander, because as lefty as righty. Dude, I wish I was smart enough to use Fangraphs effectively.
You're looking up Alberto Mondesi's righty-lefty stats?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, there you go. Someone smarter than me.
Jack, if there's anybody that knows how to use the internet, it's Jack Webster.
Source?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Sadly, this is all that I've been doing since I was like 14 years old.
It's all right. Hey.
Are we looking? Let's look at his career.
Because he's going to be primarily a left-handed hitter for the Red Sox if they're platooning him with Arroyo versus as lefty.
Yeah.
I think he's worse from the left side.
Yeah, I was going to say he has a 674 OPS against right-handed pitchers, and he has a 719 OPS against left-handed hitters. So
great.
It doesn't really do anything for us. Wow, this is ridiculous.
Yikes.
And neither of which are good in particular. Neither, the 719 is pretty much average at best. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. It's like the Moneyball scene where Ron Washington is like, none of these guys plays first base.
Yeah.
You can't platoon with a right-handed batter that can't hit from the left side. One thing, Chaim, none of these guys can hit as a lefty. You're missing one thing.
Yeah.
How can you I just don't understand. I mean, here's the thing. I think that there's plenty of reasons to be hard on Chaim Bloom. And if he had a good offseason, this minor of a move wouldn't be like looked at in such a negative way. But when you have like a bad offseason, which they did, and no one can say they didn't, if you have a bad offseason, then these are the moves that like really are like even more puzzling. I mean, he has yet to make like a good move that's stuck. You know, like, all right, take Pavetta for Workman, great move. That's where it ends.
Yeah.
And you even were like Pavetta and Seabold and like in there for the longest time.
Now,
And now Seabold's not anything. And
yeah,
with the Mookie trade, it's like, oh, it's Verdugo plus Jeter, Downs, and Wong. Now it's Verdugo plus Wong,
yep.
maybe. And then at what point is it even Verdugo? So I'm kind of wondering what you're getting back from all of this at the end of the
Then you trade Renfro. You
Yeah.
know, maybe you
Yep.
did. And man, that's tough to justify. I mean, that's just.
Don't worry, we got Alex Pinellas.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Now it's just Pinellas.
That
yeah.
was just
All
Alex
trades start off
Pinellas.
like two player. Oh, we got this guy and this guy. Then it's just this guy, and then we have no one. Then no one's left in the organization.
Hear all the time now that like the Red Sox weren't making any trades because the trade market was so ridiculous. Yet meanwhile, apart from really last year, like getting Emmanuel Valdez for 2 months of a backup catcher, that move was great. But there was
Yeah.
no reason why we weren't able to get anything for JD Martinez or Rich Hill,
Yeah.
which ended up letting walk for free, nothing. And then, that's fine. It's not like we're getting qualifying offers or we're going to, trade or get anything out of them at the end of the day. But the fact that you got nothing out of it and then stayed over the luxury tax by $4 million,
Yeah.
so that way you can't go over it this year, or it's not wise to go over it at this point. Because think about it, if we actually just stayed under after the trade deadline, there's a good chance Xander Bogaerts is still on this team. There's a good chance we would have just blown right past it because it would have reset. We don't have to really worry about penalties. We could have still extended Rafael Devers. We could have probably re-signed Nate Valdi and still done all the other moves that we wanted to. But instead, now we're having to walk this tightrope of signing 1 year, $7 million deals, trading for a Belter Mondesi. And it's that one just little piece where you take it out from the bottom of the base and everything starts crumbling from all the way down. And now
Yep.
we're a year behind schedule just because of it.
Yeah. No, it's very, very fair. And that's a great point that you brought up in the middle of that kind of statement where you said the trade market, if it's so crazy and so wild, then you can easily justify trading JD and Nate and JBJ even. Like I don't
Rich
know
Hill, yeah.
if Rich Hill, yeah. If you're going to use that excuse, Michael Waka, if you're going to use that excuse of we can't make a trade because the trade market is so crazy, then where was that same logic that was flipped with the assets that you had that were movable that was needed to win now? You're telling me that a team wouldn't have wanted Michael Waka or JD Martinez?
Yeah, JD was a big one.
JD was a huge one. The fact he wasn't traded was a travesty. I was against trading Nate because I really wanted to re-sign Nate. If I realized that wasn't a possibility, he had no intention of re-signing here, which it seemed like that was the case. He did not want to play here anymore. Then I would have definitely traded him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, he's
I
going to make more money in Texas just because of taxes and stuff. So there's that too. But I feel like, he wasn't a really big fan of the direction the team was heading in. And, it's understandable.
Yeah, I think that if you look at, I don't think there's a coincidence that they got rid of a lot of guys that have been here for a while. And, I partly agree with that. It seemed like there was a lot of bad apples last year, a little bit. It seemed like there was a little bit of like a, like an interesting dynamic. I think that there were guys that maybe were a little more vocal about some of the moves. I mean, I kind of always go back, and I love Nathan Eovaldi and what he did for this team. One of my favorite Red Sox pitchers of all time, actually. But the whole, like, when Plawecki got DFA'd, I mean, realistically, Kevin Plawecki should have been the Red Sox fourth catcher. But, I mean, because, like, he was good with the pitching staff and because, like, Nate liked him, liked pitching to him, he had a job. But, like, to be outspoken about that and then criticize the team publicly for DFAing a catcher that really had no business being on the team in the first place is wild to me. Wild.
And even with the whole Vasquez thing too, like a lot of the, I feel like a lot of the that wasn't a very popular trade amongst the clubhouse. Yeah, it was. It's kind of just a lot of those, obviously those guys, and even Matt Barnes is kind of part of that whole like core of players that I don't think anyone's really left except what Brazier's still here, and from like that 2018 run, like a lot of those core
Brazier,
guys.
Sale, and Devers.
Yeah, that's about it. So a lot of those big pieces left. So, and we talked about the direction of the team. Wasn't it Xander last year at the deadline who had said that, where he was kind of confused as to where the direction of the team was headed?
I think so. I think he said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was him that said that, where he was a little confused as to then. Hey, yeah, I mean, I don't. It was at that time, I think everybody was confused as to the direction of where the Red Sox were going.
I was gonna say, like,
yeah.
I might have said that too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it was true. It was definitely true. I think that's what him and most Red Sox fans at that time were thinking, the same thing. It's still kind of confusing to this day,
Yeah, 6 months later, I'm still confused.
Yeah, right, exactly. So he was right about that.
And I want to stress that we've always been pretty much in the middle in terms of, like the criticizing the team and being positive about the team. And I would honestly say before this offseason, even last year, I would say we were always more on the positive side. We're always kind of more on like the delusional side. If you go back and listen to, our show, I mean, except our first episode where Matt picked the Rays to win. I would say that besides that, we've been pretty much like, Red Sox pajamas to bed type of fans. Like, I would be honest, I would say that we're more on that side. And, when we're saying these things and when we feel this way, it says something. I'm not saying our voice matters or our opinion matters, but I am saying that if we feel this way, it goes to show that there's a million other Red Sox fans that feel this way.
And a lot of them showed up at winter weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great segue
absolutely.
Too.
Thank you.
What happened there?
Yeah. What happened during winter weekend? I only watched the NESN rebroadcast.
Very quiet. A lot of cheering.
Yeah.
I don't think
there was light clapping.
Yeah.
It was all sunshine and gumdrops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Just like Red Sox Twitter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There was absolutely no, just no negativity. All very good vibes there.
Yeah. So winter weekend, which next year I think we should definitely go to. it sucks we weren't able to go. But, yeah, they got booed. They got booed, which is awesome. That was awesome to see. Red Sox fans have every right to be upset. Since Heimblum took over, we made it to the ALCS, which is awesome, but we also lost Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts. That's unacceptable as the Boston Red Sox. It's completely unacceptable. With that, you've pretty much constructed a team that is now looking like they should finish in last place again. Is it possible they could finish in second? Yeah, it is. But it looks like they're going to finish in last again for the second year in a row. 2 years in a row, that's also unacceptable. So, Red Sox fans have every reason to be upset, and anyone who tells you otherwise is delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just really buck wild that John Henry picked the first time in 4 years to go out and be like addressed publicly at the Red Sox town hall. He had every opportunity in the world to be like, "Yep, I'm just gonna take this, softball and Q&A from writers where like they ask a hard question, I can just deflect it to like the evening or whatever." He did none of that and just chose to show up to like where the Red Sox fans were probably like the most dedicated Red Sox fans winter weekend, because you got to go all the way to fucking Springfield, Massachusetts in order to fucking do it. You got to be dedicated to give your money to go to fucking Springfield, Massachusetts. Like that is a whole nother level of perverted that we are at. Like, we're not quite a Trump day, but
Yeah.
like we're willing to go to Springfield, Massachusetts, which is really saying a lot.
Right. And Chris Castillo, said it pretty well. I think this was, but he said that, people going to winter weekend on a Friday in January in Springfield, Mass, you got to assume that those people that are going are true like Red Sox loyalists.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the loyalists are out there being loud and booing and showing their displeasure. Then, where's the rest of the demographic of Red Sox fans? They're just at this point such disdain for the team. So,
Yeah, I mean, and there was people, kind of on both sides of the fence as far as like showing displeasure and booing. And I saw, some people were saying that you shouldn't boo, why are you booing? Other people were like, yeah, you should, like, and I'm on that side where it's okay to show your displeasure over where the organization is right now, and where it's been, the last, year, really. Obviously, last year wasn't great. This offseason hasn't really been anything special, like we've said. Um, and if you're a fan, like if you pour, your energy, your money, buying tickets, jerseys, hats, whatever it is, like you're, you're putting a lot of support into this team year after year. And if you don't like the direction that the team is headed in, it's your right to show your displeasure when, Red Sox ownership and Red Sox front office is there at an event like Winter Weekend. um, I was happy for the fans that were there, and they were showing, that they were pissed, and this is not something that they want to tolerate, because at the end of the day, like we've always said, like this is the Red Sox, this is Boston. People are very diehard, they're very dedicated to their teams, and they're going to cheer you when the team's doing well. They're going to be behind the team. They're always going to be behind the team no matter what. But when things are going wrong and when they don't like the direction that the team is going in, they're going to let you know. They're going to be the first ones to let you know. And John Henry should know this. He's been here long enough.
yeah.
And I agree with what the fans did. I think when you go there, you don't like the direction this team is headed in, which I don't think most people do. You should be able to go there and show your displeasure. I agree with them.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I mean, Sox fans are some of the most informed in all of baseball. We know what's going on with the team. We follow every single free agent signing, even if it's not for our teams, like throughout the offseason. And that's why it's frustrating when you put in so much time, energy, and most importantly, money this organization and they don't really put out the best product that they're able to, it you should be able to boo that. And there's a lot of Red Sox fans out there that are trying to stay optimistic and positive. I try to at times. It's been a little bit harder this off season than the years past, but if you want to believe everything is rainbows and sunshine and puppies and everything, go fucking right ahead. But there's no reason why like anybody should be like, oh, you shouldn't boo this. I know we've won 4 World Series here with this ownership and everything, but it really does come down to what have you done for me lately. I'm not going to hang on to the past like that.
Yeah, and I'm very happy with what the ownership group has brought us, but that doesn't give you the excuse to run the organization into the ground, right? Where you want to compete every year, and you don't have to win a World Series every year. But the one problem with this ownership group is you've now had, say they finish in last place this year, which they should. You've now had, since they've taken over, multiple last place finishes, which for the Boston Red Sox is completely unacceptable. Imagine the uproar and the downright craziness that would ensue if Liverpool finished in like the bottom like half of the league, right? Like they're having a tough year and they're an eighth of like 20 teams, and the fans are like ready to kill themselves and ready to run the ownership group out of town. If that happened over there, then they would have to answer some serious questions. And I think that this year showed them that they don't want to be involved in soccer as much as they thought they did. I don't think they can compete with the money, as much money as they have. I think it's still like it's all oil money now, and the oil money is like these people have like money is like not real.
Yeah.
These owners in soccer that have like oil money, it's like not a real thing. It's like they could spend $1 billion and it wouldn't even put a dent in their net worth. The FSG can't compete with that, and I think that they realized that sometime in like December. I really do, because Liverpool was doing bad and they like settled for a really mid player instead of like the one that everyone wanted. And that's when I think John Henry started showing up, and he like flew to the DR, talked with Devers. He showed up at the town hall, and he's like, and then they announced they're going to sell the Liverpool. They're going to sell the team. So I think they had a revelation that they're just going to stick to baseball, which is great for us.
And the Penguins.
Yes, and the NHL is actually the NHL and the NFL are perfect for them, and I think that they're going to try to go in that direction more than baseball, and well, more than soccer, but maybe a little more than baseball because there's a hard cap.
Right.
So that's perfect for them because they don't have to. They can just develop and spend the same as the rest of the league, and not have a bunch of people upset with them.
Right. That is perfect for them because I don't think they're really willing to shell out like a bunch of money like for in a sport obviously like the MLB where there isn't that that hard cap. Yeah, I agree with you, LeBeau. I think they're better suited for a league that has that hard cap. So
the problem is that what attracted them to like the soccer world was the salaries are a lot lower than baseball, but you have to pay large lump sums to get players. And you just keep right now they're just getting outmatched with like all this oil money. But for the NHL, I mean they would crush it, because they are really good at building an organization from within itself, like conserving the history, involving the community. And they are really good at that, and they're a really good ownership group. The problem is when you're in these markets that demand so much, and they're blue collar markets, and you're the richest person in the market, and you start being a little bit cheap, these people are going to jump down your throat.
Oh yeah.
Boston and Liverpool are like identical in that sense. They're both like blue collar cities, And when you don't spend, they're going to get killed.
Henry out.
FSG.
FSG out.
They've been saying over there. They've been saying it since day one, and they've won every trophy possible. They've won every single trophy possible since they took over in a very short amount of time. Those people are never happy.
No.
Like at least
they think Red Sox fans are bad.
Yeah.
They think Red Sox fans are bad. Don't get the British riled up.
No, they take that
Oh,
shit.
your footy team is rubbish.
It's yeah.
Oh,
No,
it's
true. It's true. They hate FSG. They hate FSG. They want them gone. And I think we do too. But I think that for us, if you like make the playoffs a couple of years in a row, we'll never say another word about it until we finish in last place again. Like you got to do bad. Like them, like I said, go look at the EPL standings. They're in 8th.
Yeah.
And if you go to like their Twitter, it's just a constant barrage of just like racial and like homophobic slurs at John Henry. It truly is unbelievable. I've never seen a crazier group of people.
Yo, British people are a different breed, man.
They are. No, they're different. They're built entirely different.
You gotta be to have beans with fucking toast. They're still eating like the fucking Germans are flying over out the
yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, go steal some more artifacts or some shit. I don't know.
But yeah. So, winter weekend, to recap that, they got booed, which was awesome. But I will say this. I like to criticize Chaim Bloom because I don't agree with many of his baseball decisions. I think he's very timid with a lot of things. I think he waits too long. And I think he can really be a bad or poor judge of talent. Or maybe it's the people in the room that he trusts. But, man, I really do like the guy. Like, as a person. Like, when you listen to him at the town hall, I know a lot of what he says. He sounds like a little bit like a salesman, but I think he's being genuine. And I think he really does care. And I think he wants to bring a championship team. I just don't think he's that good at it. He seems like a really nice guy. And he seems like, he's very transparent to me. Some people don't agree, but I think he's very transparent. I think he's a breath of fresh air from hearing Kennedy and John Henry speak. I really do like the guy. I'm rooting for him. I have no faith in him whatsoever, but I'm rooting I'm rooting my ass off.
Definitely part of being like the Boston's president of baseball operations or GM or whatever fucking title that you want to have is handling the media. And I think he actually might handle the media better than any other like GM that we had. Theo was a bit crazy. Charrington was very bland. Dombrowski was out there, and he did a good job with the media too. But Chaim has an answer for any single question that any single person, media, fan, whoever is going to ask him. There's always a thought behind every single thing that they do, and they can explain it. And I do appreciate that because, a lot of times they'll just leave you, high and blue on, why they did certain trains or transactions in a lot of markets. But like in Boston, you have to answer for that.
Right.
And, at the end of the day, obviously it's been a rough off season. I think we've definitely expressed a lot of displeasures in what has been going on and everything. But at the end of the day, winning fixes everything. If we're able to go out there and we're able to compete, even if, we don't win the World Series, but like there's no reason why this team should finish in last below the Orioles, below the Rays, below the Blue Jays, even the Yankees at the end of the day. Their lineup is not that great. And that's even ideal without fucking IFK or Josh Donaldson in it. Like I saw like the talk in baseball, like, oh yeah, like we got DJ LeMahieu, we got Aaron Judge, we got Anthony Rizzo, we got Giancarlo Stanton, we got Jose Trevino, and a bunch of guys named Oswald or some shit. Like,
very mid lineup, and they didn't get a lick better in the offseason offensively.
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone could say the Yankees had a good offseason or a better offseason than the Red Sox. Actually, the Yankees had a worse offseason than the Red Sox. The Red Sox added a lot more, but the Red Sox needed to add a lot more. But you both extended your superstar, and I mean, the Yankees got Rodon, the Red Sox got Yoshida, Kenley, Turner. I mean,
I feel like the Yankee fans almost feel like they did better because they got Rodon. Like, that's like because they got like the big name pitcher that was on the market. Like, they were like, oh,
Who also has a lot of injuries.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you're counting on this guy to throw you 200 innings, you're kind of out of your mind. You're going to get 160 out of him max. And I mean, given those 160 innings, yeah, sure, they might be good. But I don't think pitching or starting pitching was an area of weakness, even really for the Yankees. They kind of improved, sure, but like by how much at the end of the day?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it was an area of need. I think that they probably just went out to spend money just because, they felt pressured to do so, which I don't want the Red Sox to do. I feel like they did that with Trevor Story, though. And now, like, it's crazy how just, like, in the blink of an eye, that's now headed toward, of all the free agents the Red Sox have ever signed in our lifetime, that's headed toward, like, the worst.
Yeah.
Or second
Still
worst.
Pablo. It's still Pablo.
Yeah, it's still Pablo, but, I mean, yeah, I guess because, but also Pablo was less money, too, so.
Yeah, it was less money, but it was less money in a smaller market. So I still think Story's at least like not gonna be a douchebag as much as fucking Pablo Sandoval was.
Right.
That's why I think it's also a little bit worse.
It seems like Trevor Story is a really good character fit at the very least. And it doesn't seem like it's ever gonna be like, oh, what a disaster. We gotta get this guy out of here. Like Pablo literally run out of Boston. Like run out of Boston.
And he hates us too.
Yeah, it's mutual hate. Mutual hate between us and Pablo Sandoval. And I mean, if David Price never pitched in 2018, like if he had a bad 2018 and didn't help you win a World Series, then I would put David Price in there. Bottom line is he pitched well in playoffs in 2018. The guy literally won you an ALCS. So he can't be on that list. Or at least he can't be top 3.
Right.
Yeah. But Story right now is top 3. Is there time? Of course there's time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's always time. He can turn it around. Apparently, he says he's at the winter weekend. He said that he does see himself playing in 2023. So, see.
I think he will.
If he says it, I mean, I believe him.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna kind of feel like how Sale was all last year, where it's like, oh yeah, once he's coming back, it's gonna be great. And he's at this point almost mentally, I'm not counting on him actually coming back. And if he does, that's gonna be a great addition for the team. If you're able to somehow compete until the All-Star break, when hopefully you're able to get him back, even in August, that would be a big addition that you're able to just add on to your team. There's never a bad time to add on, a power hitting, base stealing second baseman. So hopefully, it does help at the end of the day. And even, if we're out of it, he's still able to come back and show that he's healthy and show, what he might be able to give you. But, it was not a great first year, and this is about as bad of a start you can get to the second year in it.
Right.
One thing that I wish didn't play out, and I don't think that they meant for it to play out this way, and I'm not upset about it, but the outfield defense is pretty fucking bad. And it kind of just worked out that way, and I think it's it's a byproduct of upgrading the offense, and I think that was really important because the offense last year was terrible. So now you add Yoshida, you add Duvall. So you have some pieces now in the outfield that can hit home runs and get on base a lot, hit for a high average, drive in a lot of runs, hit a lot of doubles. But man, that's a brutal outfield. That's a lot of meat out there. A lot of meat.
A lot of meat.
That's why I actually really liked keeping Kike Hernandez in center field instead of shortstop. You have essentially a Gold Glove caliber center fielder that you're now moving to shortstop, where I'm sure he's still going to be fine. There's no when he played there in the past, he was good, but why juggle all these pieces around? You're moving Duvall from a corner outfield spot where he's only really ever played and won a Gold Glove in 21 to center field where he only has limited experience in. It's just confusing unless if another move comes. You're able to move Kike into center and, keep the outfield to more of a platoon role, kind of like what we saw in like 2016, 2017 with like Chris Young and everything, where everybody's still playing 100 plus games. At the end of the day, you can move Kike around to the infield when you need to. But right now, I'm not sure how much really putting Duvall in center field, Kike at short, platoon at second with Mondesi and Arroyo really helps the team improve at the end of the day because you're losing a lot defensively.
And it seemed like it came down to, and they might have never even talked to Elvis Andrus, but it seemed like, the Twitter GMs make it seem like it was either Duvall or Andrus. That's what it kind of seems like. And I think that we made the right choice because this is a guy that can hit almost 40 home runs, in a really good year offensively. And I think that they needed power. They needed a power bat. So I really like the Duvall signing because he's going to bring that power. He's got a great swing for Fenway. So if it came down to signing Duvall and moving Kike to short or keeping Kike in center and then signing Andrus, I would definitely keep it the way that they did it, which is sign Duvall and move Kike to center. But what I don't understand is why can't you sign Duvall and then sign Andrus, because you still could be under the luxury tax and not even worry about Mondesi, not even bother yourself with Mondesi. Then you kind of have like this situation where, like you said before, you'll have a little bit of a platoon. Kike might play some center. Duvall might play some right. Kike might play some right. Kike, or Duvall might play some left. Kike might play some short. He might play some second. You kind of just juggle things around, and those like three guys don't really have a set position. I don't see why that couldn't have worked. And you had
even Duvall can play first. Duvall can play first base as well.
Yeah. And you would have kept Josh Taylor, which is a need. Let's be real.
The left,
yeah, he's lefty. It's a need right now.
And now there's always like, oh, you can go out and sign Andrew Chafin or Matt Moore or Will Smith, who was really ineffective last year. So now you're just creating another hole that you need to fill. I feel like this last 24 hours really didn't fix anything at the end of the day, unfortunately.
A great way to sum up this team is in May, they're going to sign a left-handed reliever. And they're going to DFA Adalberto Mondesi. This is like what he does. This is what he does.
When Trevor Story comes back, there's 0% chance Mondesi is on this team.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. He's that this is his spot is Trevor Story's spot.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely is, for sure. But yeah, there's still lefty arms out there. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. All right. Yep. You guys want to call it?
We could do a random year.
Oh, we got the truck day just
day too, yeah.
The announcing of the truck day.
Truck day has a date, so mark your weirdos.
February 3rd, truck day. Yep.
Truck day has a date.
What's that next? That is next Friday, truck day. Wow. Yeah, I might be day drinking for that.
Coming up, perverts. Get ready. Cease and desist on all truck day. All
Yeah.
truck day joke.
You know what podcast you are right now.
Yeah,
Yep.
cease and desist.
We're getting Rob Levine after you.
Yeah. This is a call to prison.
Call the prison.
Yeah, call the prison, yeah.
Call the prison. Rob Levine. Bring in the heavy hitter.
We might need Rob Levine out of the pen, dude. Is he lefty or what?
Yeah.
Little Mr. Sandman.
Yep. Dude,
LeBeau's looking pretty swole. Like, if you can throw out of the left side, I think, you have a good chance of breaking camp.
Yeah. There you go.
I think Fenway would erupt if they heard LeBeau's name getting announced and him running out of the pen. High stepping out of the pen.
This is a good discourse. If you get a pitcher and you were a closer, what song are you coming out to?
Oh shit.
Ooh.
Anything
Taylor Swift, of course.
No. No.
You're right. Carly Rae Jepsen.
I don't know. Man, I've tried to think. I just don't know what I would narrow it. I don't know what I would do, honestly.
I might do Closing Time.
That's a good one. Yeah,
like, just
that's a good one.
Everybody on the other team.
You just need to have a song though that can be played even if you're not like the closer. Because what if you get brought in like a setup situation, right? Maybe
right.
Like,
yeah.
Then they're playing Closing Time. It needs to be somewhat versatile, where whenever you're coming in and the lights, maybe start flashing a little bit, and they start playing your song. That's what it needs to be. I think that I have a couple. I've thought about this a lot. I think I would go. Mr. Crowley is number one for me.
Ooh, that's a good one. Can't go wrong with Ozzy.
Yeah, it's that's not even a debate. Number two, like some gritty like old country or something like that. Like
yeah.
Body, maybe like some Johnny Cash, something like that.
Johnny Cash. Ooh,
yeah, something like that, or even like something really off rip, like Dolly Parton, maybe Jolene.
Jolene.
That would be pretty badass. Don't hate on it until
Jolene would be. I think that would get the people going though.
Yeah, and then people
like it's just so out there that I think people would love it.
Yeah, and then the last one would be When the Levee.
That would be your trumpet.
That would be.
But I think I would just come out to the Joker, little Steve Miller Band, and then just as I'm coming out, just like some people call me Maurice.
Yeah, that's cool songs are good for that.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is a cool guy. Like, kind of gets you pumped up.
Yeah, just gets people loose.
Like the on the level of like the spectrum of cool songs and then like really hardo songs, which hardo songs are like the Hansel Robles Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like that's hardo to the max. Like then
you can't come out to the Undertaker song and then be Hansel Robles.
Right. That's
you can't do that. Like if you're gonna come out to like an iconic song like that, you got to be ready to just drop your nuts on the mound right there. Like
Trevor
Hoffman.
That was best.
So I was gonna say Matt Strom coming out to Dear Maria last year was actually like kind of a banger because like even if it's like a mop-up situation, it's still fucking bop. So that's sometimes all you can ask for as well.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean, just play a couple of them, Matt. Maybe sprinkle in. Mr. Crowley is number one, and I think that when you hear, because it's got a long lead up until like that first riff. It's got a long up, and it's got like the organ. It's really a perfect song. No one's used it yet. This is a Matt LeBeau original. No one
Yeah.
Crowley in the major leagues.
I was gonna say I don't think I would. I don't think I would. I don't think anyone has that in the majors, right? It's a very like
Yeah.
it's not like super obscure, but it's
No,
obscure enough where I don't think anyone would actually use that.
you're right. I'm gonna put Kenley's looking for a walkout song. Maybe I'll put him on. Mr. Kenley.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think my walkout song would be Not Another Sox podcast, where I just play like a 1 minute increments of the show, like every time I come out of the pen after like 60 appearances. Like you've listened to the whole one whole show, so
That is funny.
It's just on truck day while you're walking out.
Yeah. After my 48th year in the big leagues, we've been caught up to this point. I'm like Tom Brady.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
I think that's about it.
Yeah. I think we should wrap it up.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Peace.
Peace.